Hey guys, Cody with Princess Craft RV. Come along with me today as we go over the systems operations of the 2021 RPod 196 from Forest River. So let's go over starting right up front here on how to get this thing hooked up to your tow vehicle. It's going to ride on a 2-inch ball. Once you get your tow vehicle backed under it, you're going to use your electric tongue jack here to lower down onto the ball. And to get it latched, you're just going to put your palm on here and you're going to push this all the way over and it should latch. You should be able to see physically this security lock right here is latched, and you shouldn't be able to lift that up. Now to get it to release, you're just going to pinch on this little piece right here and flip the coupler up, and then it will be released from the ball. A few other things that do need to be hooked up to your tow vehicle receiver hitch is going to be our safety chains. Now these do need to cross and create a basket under the hitch, and they will clip onto the receiver hitch. Your safety breakaway cable, this is a safety device. If you get completely separated from your tow vehicle, this is going to pull out of the breakaway box mounted back here on the frame, and as long as you have a good 12-volt battery on board on the trailer, this will engage the brakes on the trailer to bring it to a stop. Now this needs to run on its own path. Do not route it through the chains, and it needs to be hooked up with its own clip to the receiver hitch. They do make a replacement cable for this that's kind of a curly-Q style to get this up off the ground so you don't have any sag. Makes hook up nice and clean, and it comes with a clip on it already. Last thing that we're going to hook up to our tow vehicle is going to be our 7-pin cord here, and this is going to provide all of our light features to the trailer, running lights, brake lights, turn signals, and it's also going to have the charge line in it, and it's also going to operate the brakes through this if your tow vehicle is equipped with a charge line and a brake controller. Now this stores in this little saddle right here on the side of the frame, keeps the water and the dirt out of it, keep it from hanging out in the mud, keep everything working nice and good for you there. Now on our tongue jack mounted up here on the front, it's electric. Very simple process, up and down switch here on the front. And it also comes with a light on it for nighttime use. And if for some reason you do have 12-volt failure on this, it won't operate, battery's dead, or the motor just fails, you're going to pop this little cover open on top right here. You're going to take your supplied crank handle. It's going to fit right down on top of the drive down in there, and then you can manually crank this jack up and down depending on what needs to happen to get you taken care of. Moving back from behind your jack, we're going to have your 20-pound propane cylinder that comes with the trailer from Princess Craft here. It will be full when you leave and ready for use. But to get normal access to this for turning the cylinder on and off, we're going to loosen up this little thumb nut here on top. Tip that back to where we can open this flap. And right inside you will find access to your propane cylinder and the valve right on top there. All the way to your left will be open, all the way to your right will be closed for use. Now to remove the cylinder completely to take it and get it exchanged or refilled, it's easier if you keep this door open. We're going to take this wing nut off the back right here. Just going to loosen this all the way off. Set this somewhere where you're not going to lose it. Pocket on top of the battery box, whatever works for you, just don't lose it. And then we're going to be able to remove the cylinder cover, which will then get us access to our propane cylinder. Now to finish removing this from the trailer, make sure your service valve is turned all the way off. Remove your service hose here. And then we can loosen up our wing nut here on the clamp. And this just needs to be loose enough for you to remove the cylinder. And now you can take this cylinder and transport it and get it exchanged or refilled. Again, whatever works for you or what may be available in your area. Now just remember, anytime you are transporting your cylinder, it does need to be in the upright position. And another thing to remember, if you have bought an add-on propane monitor that goes on the bottom of the cylinder, don't forget to move that to your new one if you do an exchange so you don't lose it. Putting it back in is just going to be the opposite. We're going to drop it right back down into our clamp. I like to go ahead and hook up my service hose, make sure all that's going to be in the right position. And then go ahead and snug up our wing nut here on the clamp. Now again, this should not require any tools. It does not need to be that tight. Hand tight is plenty. We're going to take our cover here and we are going to fish this back on. Put our wing nut back on the back. Again, no tools needed here. Just needs to be hand tight. Does not even need to be overly tight. Now these little covers right here fall off pretty regularly when you're messing with them. They can blow off for sure if you do not secure them correctly, but if it pops off, it's real simple to put back on. 2 hinges here. You're going to kind of bend it over, overextend it in one direction. It's going to snap on, and then from there, it's just normal use. If you forget to snug up this little thumb wheel after you've been in here, chances are this cover will be gone when you reach your next location. Now moving on behind the propane cover, we're going to have your deep cycle battery here. Be a snap top box here that we put on from Princess Craft. Inside you will find your interstate lead acid battery. Traditionally you will find a not maintenance free battery, which basically means you're going to have to pop these caps off periodically. Check your water level and top off with distilled water as needed. If you ever need to change your battery, Forest River does a pretty good job of labeling their cables, as well as color matching for positive and negative. But if those labels fall off or you're not sure if the road grime gets too much onto these cables, you can't tell colors, taking a picture of cable location is a good idea. Other than that, pretty basic. You can upgrade these to maintenance-free batteries. You can go AGM, and you can go all the way to lithium if you so choose, want to do some special camping or anything like that. Battery control switch is going to be right here. This is going to be your disconnect for turning the battery on and off to the trailer. Moving on down to the off-door side of the trailer here. Starting underneath, stabilizer jacks in all 4 corners on this trailer. Now these are not for lifting, they are for stabilizing. Once you get the trailer level side to side with the axle and front to back with the tongue jack, then you're going to run these down to the ground using your supplied crank handle. It's going to go right onto the stabilizer like this, and basically all you're going to do is run that down to the ground and apply a light amount of pressure. They do make drill attachments for these that you can put on, make your life a little quicker. Again, you're not trying to over torque them or anything like that. Down to the ground, a little bit of pressure. Big pass-through storage compartment here on the front. The baggage door is held open with a magnetic catch. So you just push it up to it, the magnet takes over and holds it open. It's going to be a thumb latch and a key latch there for security. And moving inside, we do have a couple things in here. You'll see this panel right here to your right, looking into it, says antifreeze inlet. This is typically screwed shut. I've already removed the screws, but this panel is just going to pull away. And inside, you're going to find your water pump. And we're going to find this hose here that has no end on it. And it's going to lead back to a valve. Now this valve is how you switch between sucking from the freshwater tank and through this hose. So the way the lever points is the position basically as to which it's going to pull liquid from. So right now it's pointed to this hose, so it's going to pull from the freshwater tank. If we turn it and have it point towards this hose, it's going to not pull from the freshwater tank, and it's going to pull from here. Now this is for winterization purposes. With that turned like that, you're going to put this into your jug of RV antifreeze. You're going to go inside and flip your water pump switch on, and you're going to run all your faucets and fixtures until you get pink flowing at them, and that will tell you that you've got antifreeze fully into your system. Now there are a couple other steps that we will cover along the way. This is just one of the few steps that needs to be done. For normal use, you're just going to turn that valve back, fit all this back into this compartment, and then you would screw your cover back on when you are done. Now you can leave that cover off until you're ready to pull it out, so you don't have to take it on and off every time you need it. Moving on back from that compartment, we're going to find our 2 freshwater connections. Top one's going to be for our freshwater tank. It's where you're going to fill up if you want to carry water on board with you. 2 ways you can monitor this. You can just put your hose in, Turn the water on, wait till it backwashes out at you. That tells you the tank is completely full. The other option is to watch the monitor panel on the inside of the trailer and carry a predetermined amount of water based off of the monitor panel. The connection below that's going to be our city water connection, which is where we're going to hook up with our freshwater hose and water pressure regulator to provide water to the trailer. Now, if you're hooked up here and you're running on city water, you do not need your water pump turned on. You're going to rely on the city pressure there to provide pressure to the trailer. Just underneath the trailer here, you're going to see this little white cap back here. That's going to be our freshwater tank drain. So when you're done camping, you need to drain off all that fresh water so it doesn't get stagnant in that tank. You're just going to remove that cap and let it drain out. Now, a couple other things that most of your manufacturers are going to recommend is sanitizing that freshwater tank. That is not a process that is done before you leave with your new trailer from Princess Craft, and it is something you may want to look into doing. There's different ways of doing it. Thetford makes a great product. Other people do other ways. You can choose your source of sanitizing that tank, whatever works for you. If you have any questions about it, just hit us up. Moving back from there, we're going to have our sewer outlet connection. Now this is going to be our 3-inch connection, which is going to be our black tank, which is going to be our toilet water. To make your connection here, you're just going to remove this cap. Your sewer hose of your choice that you're going to use is going to have a bayonet connection on it, similar to this. It's just going to fit on where that cap was and twist on. Now there's plenty of different sewer hoses on the market that do a great job. Now this being the black tank, you always want to make sure and leave your valve closed until your tank is full or until you are leaving your campsite. We want to give it plenty of time for our solids to completely break down, so all we have is liquids coming out. We don't end up with any tank clogs. So very simple process there. Now this trailer does have a separate gray water outlet, so not everything comes out of the same dump. The gray outlet's going to be behind the axle. I'll show you that one when we get back there, but you may want to think about using a Y setup where you have a hose coming from each one to a Y union down into the dump, or a variation of that, so you don't have to be moving your hose back and forth, but that is something that can be totally decided by you. Moving on to our slide here, just a couple of things about our slide. You do have a rubber gasket that goes all the way around the slide. You are going to want to maintain that slide seal. You'll want to use a rubber seal conditioner on that periodically to keep it from breaking down and deteriorating due to the sun and weather and road grime, all that good stuff. It's kind of like tire shine. It's very easy to put on. You're going to spray it. Some of them do require you to wipe. Some of them don't. So pick your battle there of what you want to use. You'll just want to do it periodically about every 90 days or so, depending on your use, to keep that going. And then the other one's going to be our metal tracks here that we see on the side. You're going to want to lubricate those as well. Make sure there's no heavy debris on them. And then spray a light film of slide lube on to each track. There's 2 on each side. Run the slide in and out, and that will transfer to the gears in the wall. Should take care of everything there. Other than that, when you get ready to close your slide up, if you've been under trees or you hear things falling onto the roof of your trailer while you're camping in, it's probably going to be a good idea to get up and check the top of the slide. Make sure there's not any debris that's going in and out with the slide that could cause damage to your slide seals. Wheels and tires, tire pressures and lug nuts are important on trailers. You definitely don't want to have a blowout or anything like that. So you do want to check your lug nut torque spec. If you don't own a torque wrench, I would recommend getting one. Most of your manufacturers are going to have a mileage rating for the first trip. It looks like Forest Rivers is 50 miles, 100 miles, and 200 miles. And that's after any time the wheel has been removed for service. So if you take it in and get the bearings packed, or you have the brakes checked, anything like that, they're going to want you to re-torque at that 50 miles, 100 miles, and 200 miles. And then they also recommend, and we also recommend, checking lug nut torque before each trip. The other thing is going to be tire pressure. It's just like doing the tire pressure on your car. It's going to vary. It's going to fluctuate with temperature outside. So you're going to want to check that and make sure that you keep it to spec. Now, what's your spec? It's going to be on this sticker right here by your freshwater connections. You're going to see all these stickers right here. The ones with the wheels on them are going to be your spec. And according to Forest River, your spec is 65 PSI on cold tires. Now you'll also see that they have your VIN information, loading information, all that other good stuff at these stickers as well. So that's going to bring us back here to our wastewater holding tank, or our gray water holding tank, which is going to be here behind the axle. This is going to operate exactly the same as your black water dump that we talked about. It's just going to be a smaller valve basically, because there really are no solids that may be coming down with this. Now again, you can keep this one hooked up to that Y bayonet fitting setup that we were talking about, or you can move your hose back and forth. The other cool thing about a gray tank, since it is just liquid, or should be just liquid, is you can leave this one open while you're camping and just let it run out, so you don't accidentally fill up your gray tank in the middle of the shower and be standing in water. So you can leave that one open. Now, a lot of people do like to flush their sewer hose with the gray water, so they may close it off a day before they're going to leave or something like that, so they can give that gray tank time to fill up and then use it to clean the sewer hose out after they've dumped your gray tank, or black tank, excuse me. You're going to dump black first, follow it with the gray. Once the black is done, make sure you close your valve before you dump your gray tank. Right here on the back end, we are going to find your cable satellite port, exterior port. If you're staying in a campground that provides cable, it's going to hook up right here. I'll show you where the other connections are made on the inside. Also, if you're going to use an exterior satellite, portable satellite, it's going to hook up here, and I'll show you how to make those connections on the inside as well. Now for your 30 amp service, this is 30 amp 110 service. We're going to have 3 prongs inside the trailer side. One of them is going to be an L shape, and we're just going to match these up with the cord side. Give that a little push, give it a turn to the right, and then we're going to use our plastic lock ring and we're going to lock that down. Now you want to make sure that this has a nice snug fit. We don't want any loose connections here, because a loose connection can generate arcing, which can generate heat and cause melting and power issues. So make sure you do get a good snug connection there. So let's move around to the back side of our RPOD 196 here. We have quite a bit going on the back side of this trailer. So we have our roof access ladder. You do need to use this, get up on your roof, inspect your roof periodically for damages, as well as normal maintenance. Normal maintenance for your roof is going to be inspecting your sealants up there, making sure you don't see any cracking or pits or voids or anything like that that you may think would let water in. If you think water could get past it, it could probably get past it. If you're really not sure what to do with it, take a picture of it, send it to our service department, let them look at it, and they can advise you on the best way to proceed. Now, a couple other things we have back here. We do have our vent right here, which is going to be for our vent hood for our cooktop inside. Now, this does have snaps that keep it shut for travel, so it doesn't blow out of there. Now, to get it open, you are going to have 2 little finger holes here. Just going to put your finger in there and it's just going to pop open. And so it opens up a lot easier than it closes. Moving down below, we're going to find our furnace exhaust. This gets pretty hot when you're running your furnace, so watch out for fingers or anything like that. This is a high entry point for wasps and dirt daubers. So if you know what those are, they do make insect screens that can go over this that are going to help keep those out. Spare tire mounted on the bumper. If you do get a flat, this will be the spare that you're going to use. Again, if you don't have any flat changing tools, you're going to want to pick those up. They do not come with the trailer. A tire iron with some lug nuts, and as well as your torque wrench, and you can possibly get by with your your jack from your tow vehicle, or you may need to get something dedicated to your trailer if you do need to change a flat. Refrigerator access here on the back, we're just going to turn these 2 twist locks. So this is going to be the lock position where the slot's running this way, and vertical, if the slot's vertical, it's unlocked. And then we're just going to pull from the top and pop that off. Now inside, this is just going to be the back side of your refrigerator. There's not a whole lot for you as a consumer in here, but you do want to get in periodically and clean this out if there's dirt daubers building nests in here, or just general bug debris or anything like that, you want to get in here and kind of clean it out. Keep it nice and clean. 110 outlet over here on the left. This is dedicated specifically for the refrigerator. We are going to have your gas valve right here. And there's also a little thumb wheel right here at the bottom. This is going to be your manual shutoff. If for some reason this needs to be turned off and you still need propane to the rest of the trailer, you can turn this little dial right here to shut the gas off. Other than that, there's not a whole lot in here. If you smell ammonia or see anything going on back here that's kind of a yellow hazing or anything like that, you could have a coil leak, something to check into, get with a service department on and check it out. Now putting this back on, we're just gonna line up our 4 tabs there on the bottom and get this thing to line up at the top. And would you look at that? That lines up so well, doesn't it, Clint? Going to blow off the first time they drive down the road. Below our refrigerator access is going to be our exterior water heater access. To get into this, we're just going to turn our little D-loop right here, and our door is going to come open. And a couple things in here that you're going to need to know how to operate. Bottom left-hand corner, you're going to find an on-off switch. This is going to be for your 110 heating element. If you are camping plugged into shore power and you want to not use up your propane, use that 110 switch right there, turn it on and off. Just remember that when you drain this water heater out, make sure that switch is off so you don't accidentally plug in with no water in your water heater and burn up your heating element. Now your heating element is behind this plastic cover right here if it ever does need to be serviced. Dead center here in the bottom is going to be our anode rod / drain plug. Now this is gonna, the anode rod portion of this is gonna wear out over time. That is normal. It is your sacrificial piece that is in the water heater to protect the tank. Now you do wanna pull this plug and drain your water heater. If this thing is gonna be parked for longer than probably a couple of weeks, get that nasty water out so it doesn't get stagnant. It's also gonna prolong the life of your anode rod. Instead of the anode rod just sitting in the water when it's not being used, it's sitting out just drying, and then put it back in whenever you're ready to use the trailer again. Up here in the top center, we're going to find your safety valve or your pop-off valve. If for some reason the water heater overheats or you have a malfunction, this will blow off and relieve any excess pressure. Now, these are prone to dripping occasionally as the water heats up. That is normal, and it is not a condition to worry about. To close this up, we're just going to line that D-loop back up with the slot, give it a little pull, twist it, and then fold that over. And you can put insect screens over these 2 vent locations on the water heater. Now underneath back here, you're going to find these 2 valves right here. These are going to be your low point drain valves for draining the water system. Now this is another step in winterization as well as just general storage. It's going to be put up for a while. It's a good idea to go ahead and drain the water lines off from any water so you don't get stagnant water sitting in there creating other issues. This is generally going to be your first step in winterizing. It's going to be draining the low point lines, draining your water heater. First step, then we're going to do our bypass features and then do the water pump. I'll show you how to bypass the water heater once we get inside. Last thing on our bumper, you do have the rubber plugs that can be removed, and this is a good location to store your sewer hose. Most sewer hoses are going to fit in here. Just remember it is a metal bumper, and you can end up with sharp edges occasionally. So just be careful that you don't damage your sewer hose. Again, you just squeeze these and pull them out. Put them back in, just line it up and give it a little pat, and it goes back in. All right, moving on to the door side of our trailer. We are equipped with an electric awning on this. I'll show you how to operate that once we get inside. You also have a swing away entry handle here that just folds up against the door. Double step for your entry steps, which store very easily. Just gonna fold our bottom step on top of the top step, pick up here in the middle, and just give it a little push back in, and that's gonna be our stored position. Now to pull it back out for use, we're just gonna grab here in the middle and pull straight out, all the way out and down, and then just flip our step down for use. We've got speakers on this side. We do have a porch light. Again, we've got our wheel and tire specs that we need to keep up with. Now this trailer is equipped with a black tank flush. So this is gonna go in line with cleaning our black tank only, which is our toilet water. So while that valve is open over there on the black tank, sewer hose hooked up, valve open, you can hook up here with a dedicated water hose for using for the black tank flush. You do not want to use your freshwater hose on this that you use to supply fresh water to your trailer. This needs to be a hose all by itself. Hook it up here. No pressure regulator needed on line here. We want as much water volume and pressure going in there as we can. Hook it up, valve open, let it run for about 10 minutes or so. That's going to help flush anything out of the tank that may not have flushed out during just draining. Once you're done, shut your water off, cap it off, disconnect your sewer hose and everything, and you should be good to go. A couple of 110 outlets here on the exterior. And that's going to bring us up to our exterior kitchen here that's on the other side of our big pass-through storage. Now this has some cool features that they've got into it. This little sink here, you can put some water into it, but it's completely removable from the bin here, which it does have to be removed once you get ready to store everything up. Now your griddle that comes with it, it's got a little grease trap, little grease hole here that you can scrape everything into. Very easy to light. You just push in and then turn this, which is going to spark every time you rotate it. If you're wondering if things are getting lit up, just remove the griddle top and you can get easy access to the burners. And then this just sits right back down on here. Now for hooking up the gas hose, because this does have to be hooked up and disconnected every time you use this or every time you break it down. It's all quick connect fittings, so it's very simple, very easy to use. There's a connection at the back of the griddle, which is going to be right here. Just quick connect fitting with a dust cap, as well as a shutoff valve or gas flow valve here. Now, when you go to make this connection, we're just going to push this black collar back, and we're going to slip it right onto that nipple there. Now, once we're connected there, this valve right here needs to be open. That way the gas can flow through. Now, once that's done, this cannot be disconnected until you close that gas valve back off. So once you close it off, now it can be removed. Now, it's the exact same connection with the gas valve and everything on the trailer side, which is right here at the front of the trailer. So if you're going to be putting this thing away for storage, we're going to remove the hose. And this can be coiled up and placed in the sink or wherever you find it beneficial to put. Now, the griddle has a safety kind of thing built into it. So it comes with these rubber feet that just screw in by hand. When you remove this, you will see that 3 holes are larger and 1 is going to be smaller. That's going to be the back right-hand corner. Once you place the griddle, so you can see we've got 3 feet on there. Once you place the griddle in there, you're going to take your last foot and you're going to screw it into that last spot. And that's going to keep you from accidentally knocking this off onto the ground or a kid pulling it off onto themselves and burning themselves. So that's going to be our little safety feature there for that. So remove that. It's probably a good idea to screw it back in so you don't lose it. Now to store all of this up, you do have to remove your sink, the griddle top or piece is going to slide in first. Push it all the way in until you feel the little detents, and then we're going to push this piece in underneath, and that is how all that's going to store. And then you can store your sink and your griddle in the storage bin or inside the trailer, whatever works for you. Again, we're going to have a thumb lock and a key lock and the magnetic catch for this compartment. So this unit comes equipped with the outside spray port, which is very useful for the outside kitchen area. These can be a little difficult to hook up when they get water pressure at the backside of them. If you've got an extra set of hands, having somebody hold this open while you're trying to make the connection so the pressure can bleed through can make it easier sometimes if you shut the water off and get a little screwdriver and just pop the valve inside. That makes them easier as it releases that pressure. Once you get ready to disconnect, you're just going to give the hose a little push in, push the collar back, and release it. Now, you can see there I got sprayed. We do have water pressure in this trailer. So when you get ready to store this, I recommend draining them. Hold them up like this, push the lever in, and let all the water drain out. That way it doesn't slowly drain out to the inside of your trailer. I think that covers everything on the exterior of our RPod 196, so let's go check out the inside. All right, guys, so coming inside of our 2021 RPod 196, we've got a couple of new features. On our entry door, we do have your typical bug screen and entry and everything here. They do have this door equipped with a window in it. Now, the full door is a piece of glass on the outside, but they still have you a window face on the inside. But this does not come with a shade in it, so when the lights are on the inside at nighttime, people can see in. They do make a quick, easy install shade that fits right in here, clips right in using the latches that are already here. Pretty simple install. Now, coming up in here, we've got your WFCO power distribution panel on the left, right underneath the refrigerator. We're going to find all your 110 breakers in here, as well as all your 12-volt fuses. I do recommend picking up a variety pack of fuses, keeping them on hand, just in case you blow a fuse while you're out camping. You can just replace it and keep going. Now that you can hear that this has a fan on it, that fan is going to come and go as it's needed. It is a normal noise from your power distribution panel. Below that, we're going to find your intervac system that comes in the RPods. It's going to have two features. We've got your broom feature or your floor sweep feature here. You're going to sweep your pile up to it. We're just going to open this up once we get our pile swept up to it, and it's going to suck everything into the vac system. Now, these do not come with the hoses. If you wanted to get the hoses, you can. It can hook right into here, and you can use it like a traditional vacuum, and you would use the switch right here to turn it on and off. Now, this does have a catch bag in it. To get to it, we're just going to put our finger in this little hole right here, pull to the left, and pop this cover open. Once we get in here, we are going to find a filter, which goes right there, and we're going to have your bag. Now, you can see here it's got some arrows and things on it. Shows you how to fit it, you know, in the up direction, all that good stuff. So we're just going to put the back on first. We're going to kind of fill back in here. And we're going to slide this onto the nipple in the back. Now, once you get that on, we're going to put our cover back on. We're going to put this onto the front piece here. We're going to put the left side in first. There's two tabs there. And then we're just going to latch it closed. Now, just above that, I do have this little panel removed so I can show you the other valves for winterization. Now, there's two valves back here at your water heater, and both of these have to be turned in order to bypass your water heater. Now, this will be the second step after you drain. You want to drain your low points, drain your water heater. While that's draining, you can come in here and remove this panel. It's just 4 screws and bypass your water heater. It's going to be this valve right up here at the top. And there's another one at the bottom. They're in the normal use position right now, so they're allowing water to flow into the water heater and out of. When they get turned, it's just going to allow water to completely bypass the water heater. We don't need 6 gallons of antifreeze going into our water heater. And that's going to be your second step, and then your third step would be pumping your antifreeze into the trailer at the very first piece that we showed you in this video. Moving on to the right side, coming in the entry door, we're going to find your fire extinguisher that's capable of putting out, you know, any type of fire you may experience in this trailer. On top, you're going to find a little green button. That little green button is there for you to push it down and make sure it pops back up. As long as it pops back up, you should still have pressure in that cylinder and it should be ready to go. This unit does come equipped with your pet bowls here for food and water. And we've got your, that's going to be for some plumbing access there, is what that little vent cover is going to be for. We've got your coat hangers, key hangers, whatever you want to use these for coming in the door. And then we've got a variety of switches. This first panel right here is going to be our light switch. You can see our first one here says interior light. So that's going to be for all the lights inside the trailer. Then we're going to have our porch light, which is going to be our amber light out here on the porch underneath the awning. The red lit one is going to be our awning LEDs, which run the full length of the awning. We're going to have our slide room switch, which controls our whole slide room in and out. You're going to push and hold for the full travel of your slide, whether it's in or out. Obviously, check your area. Make sure you're not going to hit anything. When you get ready to close it up, make sure there's nothing on the floor in the way of opening the slide or closing the slide. Awning extend and retract. Push and hold again until it's all the way out for extension. Again, make sure you're not going to run into anything when you extend your awning. When you get ready to retract, push and hold until it's all the way up against the trailer. And again, make sure you're not going to run into anything. Just above that, you will see this Go Power sticker. This unit is pre-wired for roof mount solar systems. Our monitor panel is right up here at the front as well. We're going to have 4 buttons right down the right here. Gray, black, fresh, and battery. So these are going to be, the top 3 are going to be our tank levels, gray, black, and fresh. And then our battery level is going to kind of give you an idea of what your battery status is. We're going to have our water heater switch and our water pump. Now this water heater switch in here is going to be for the gas side or the propane side of your water heater. So if you're going to want to use your propane to heat your water, it's that switch. If it's the 110 you want to use, it's the switch inside the water heater. Water pump, if you're going to be dry camping or you're carrying water with you and you need to pull over and use the restroom or something like that, just flip that switch on right there. It's going to pressurize your plumbing system and allow you to have water. Did that mess up the video? Okay. Dometic refrigerator here on the left. To get into this thing, these handles just pivot. They just rock to the right, and that's going to allow you to open up your doors. All your controls are going to be behind the freezer door. It's just 2 buttons, on and off. So when it is on, you're going to have the light. You're going to hear that little beep, and then you're going to have a light come on. Right now we're in the auto mode, which means it's going to select between 110 electric or LP gas, whichever is the most reliable source. So if we're hooked up to 110 and the power goes out in the park, it's going to automatically switch over to LP gas. As long as you have propane on board and 12-volt battery, this thing's going to fire up on gas and keep everything cold. If you want to manually force it to gas, we're just going to push that in. We want the auto light off. Now it's only going to run in gas mode. If the check light comes on, that means, hey, something's not right. It didn't operate. If you're trying to run it on gas, it's a good chance that you've got air in the line and you need to cycle through the gas function a few times to get it to bleed all that air out. Easiest way to do that is just turn it off, give it like a 3 count, turn it back on, do that a few times to try to get all the air out of the line. Moving on to our kitchen, our galley area in here. Sink, spout rotates left and right. Water flow control is going to be the stem towards you. Temperature control is left and right. Do have a GFCI protected outlet. Your overhead light here you can turn on and off with the button, and that's pretty much any light that is inside the trailer here. They all have a center button on them, so you can pick and choose which lights are on and off. Overhead, we do have compartments for storage. We've got your vent hood with a built-in light here, as well as the vent fan. Remember, if you're going to use the vent fan, you want to make sure that the vent on the outside of the trailer is open. We've got your privacy shade here, which doesn't stay up, so that's a good show there. 2-burner cooktop with a glass cover. Now, glass covers are nice. Just remember that you want to let your burners cool before you close your cover down on top of them. To get these to light, you're just going to turn it up to the light where it says light, and you're going to use your stick lighter or a match or whatever you want to use and light whichever burner you're trying to light. And then set your flame height with the knob. When you're done, shut it off, let it cool, and then close your cover. Do have some accent lighting underneath your sink here with the switch above the microwave. And it comes equipped with your convection microwave here. So you can kind of do lots of different things in there. Pretty simple. Works just like a plain microwave, or you can use the convection portion of it and cook like pizzas and things like that. Underneath, we do have some more storage. 3 drawers. And then under here, we have storage, but you will see some plumbing under here. So just be cautious that you don't break any of that as you're putting things in there or pulling them out. One of the new things that they've done is they've taken the refrigerator from here, put it over there, and made this into a cabinet or storage or wardrobe, whatever you'd like to call it. And you do have a big storage area here. These shelves are adjustable. These brown cleats on the sides. If you want to move a shelf up, you just push the shelf up and it's going to snap into place. If you want to move them down, you're going to have to push in on the tab and allow the shelf to drop below it. And that would be for all 4 corners. Where are we at? Let's go ahead and talk about our couch here real quick. Overhead, we've got 3 storage bins. Again, we are going to have a light overhead that does have a push button on it. Now, your window on this one can open in 2 manners. It's got a slider as well as it being your emergency exit window. So for the slider, we're going to pull out on this latch right here, and then we can just slide the window open. Now, if it's an emergency and we need to exit this window, we're going to flip up these 2 red handles right here, and then this window will push open completely and allow us to crawl out. Now, for your table here right now, you can see it's latched in for travel position. This is a fold-up style, card style table. So you do want to make sure it's stored somewhere if you don't use it here to protect your trailer as well as the table itself. It just is held in place with these travel straps, which can be tucked underneath the couch. This just stands up like any style, any style card table pretty much. Just gonna flip those hinges into place, latch them, make sure they're secure. And then you have your table. You can sit on your couch and eat and make yourself comfortable. Let's pull this out of the way and show you how this lays down into a bed. So you're going to pull your cup or your armrests up there. We're going to grab the bottom of the front of the couch. We're just going to lift up, and this thing's going to very naturally just tilt into a bed. Jackknife sofa here is what we call it. Works very easily, and then you can have somebody sleep here. To put it up, we're just going to pick up again. Once you kind of reach the top, you'll feel it. You're going to want to kind of give it an angle push down towards the back wall. Or you can grab the back here and pull it up until it comes all the way around, whatever works best for you. Then you can put your armrest back in place and go back to using your couch. Let's venture into the bathroom here. Okay, so the door for your bathroom is going to be a pocket door. Travel strap here that you just unsnap. This is going to slide all the way shut, and it's going to be held closed with a magnet catch here, and just to help keep it shut. Do not forget to snap this for travel, or this door will bang around in here. Just inside to your left will be your light switch for in here. Overhead, it comes equipped with your max fan. You just crank this open. You can use this just as a vent with no fan. You can turn your fan on and off right here with the buttons. This has it as a four-speed fan at the highest setting. It's going to be 900 cubic feet per minute. So it's going to move quite a bit of air, or again, you can just leave it in the off position. When you get it closed down all the way, you're going to push up on the handle. That's going to kind of be your travel lock there for that. Got your medicine cabinet here. Hot and cold water for your faucet. Do have a drain stop in here if you need to catch some water. And you're also going to find your GFCI outlet in here with the trip and reset buttons on it here. The green light is on. Everything should be working good. If there is no light on, you either don't have 110 power to the trailer, or your outlet is tripped for some reason, which means you probably don't have power at other outlets that are controlled by that one. Underneath, we're going to find some more plumbing down here. Again, just be cautious when you're working under here. We don't want to knock anything loose, cause any problems. With your toilet, It's going to be a foot flush, which is going to be this big pedal right here. We're just going to push down part of the way. And that's just going to put water in the bowl. You want your bowl about 50% full before you use it. Once you get it there, you do everything you need to do. You're going to push all the way down. That's going to open up the blade and allow everything to go down. Once you get it going, you're going to want to give it about a 10 count. That way we get plenty of water down with it. A couple other things that you want to do with your RV toilets and black tanks is make sure you're using RV toilet tissue and make sure you're using a good quality toilet control treatment for odors and waste digestion. Keep everything working nice and good for you there. Moving over to our shower. It's going to be a fabric shower door with a magnetic strip here that's going to hold it shut. So when you get in and you pull it shut, you're just going to pull it over to the magnet and the magnet's going to hold it closed. And then it just pulls open again when you're ready to get out. Now your shower head here, have flow control up here on the head. And we've got your temperature control here, hot and cold mix, set your temperature and have a nice shower. So just right here coming into the sleeping area, we've got your Coleman mock air conditioner overhead. Thermostat's on the wall just outside the bathroom. Now for controls on this, it's 3 buttons. It's very simple. This is also going to control your furnace. So you're just going to cycle through right now. You can see our room temperature is 72 and we are in the off mode, so we're not requesting anything. To get it going, we're just going to push and cycle through. The first setting is going to be fan. And you can see here we can go through fan low, fan high, and then it's going to go to cool high, cool low, or cool low auto, cool high auto. We recommend cool high auto so we don't have any freeze up or anything like that. It does everything that it needs to do. From there, we're going to go to heat, and then the up and down arrows are just going to be for our temperature selection. So below our thermostat down here by the floor, we're going to find our carbon monoxide and LP alarm. If you get a leak or some carbon monoxide, this guy is going to make a bunch of noise. It's got a test button on it. It is recommended that you do test it. Make sure it continues to operate as designed. Just around the corner here, we're going to have your TV, which right now is secured with its travel strap in place. So to get this out and watch it, we're going to undo the strap. And then this thing can swing out for use. You can keep it, position it where whatever works for you. If you're sitting on the couch, you can swing it that way. Now on the back side, we're going to find a couple things. This is set up for over-the-air antenna right now. This is a 12-volt TV, so you can watch this while you're dry camping, anything like that. Right now with this red light on, that means that we're trying to use the over-air antenna to watch TV, which means we're getting free channels. We just have to run a channel scan on the TV to bring in those channels. Now, if you hook up outside to cable, so park supplied cable, all you got to do is turn that button off, no red light. The park cable signal can get through the circuitry that's in there, and then you just run a channel scan and you should get some park cable coming through. Now, if you're going to run satellite, this top coax fitting right here is where your satellite fitting, you're going to hook up your satellite on the outside. This one coming in is going to hook up to your receiver box, and then your receiver is probably going to be an HDMI connection out, which most of them are. So you're going to have a supplied HDMI cable that's going to run from your receiver box to the back of your TV and plug into one of the HDMI inputs on the TV. Other than that, it works just like a TV. It's pretty straightforward. Just don't forget to secure it for travel. So when we get ready to travel, we're going to want to swing this back into the wall. And make sure that you latch it back for travel, just like that. I'm going to swing this back out of the way so we can see the radio back here. So our radio is back here in the corner. IRV Technologies, this is going to be for music. You can connect your phone to it and stream Bluetooth. It's got a HDMI input on the front. It's got a USB charger on the front. It's how you control your zones for the radio, whether you want speakers inside or outside or both. It pretty much does everything just in a really small package that you would expect from a, I don't know, home theater type style system thing. Let's finish up here in the bedroom. Underneath your bed, we do have a storage compartment. Just has a hinged piece of wood here that's going to keep that covered. On each side of the bed, you are going to find a USB charger and 110 outlet. That's going to be on both sides. We also have some cabinet lighting for your wardrobes that are on both sides of the bed. Overhead on the off-door side, we are going to find your smoke alarm with a 9-volt battery inside, so it is 9 volts. So once it gets low, it's going to start beeping at you. So check it periodically, replace the battery as needed. We have another fire escape window on the door side in the bedroom. It's going to open up just the same as the one behind the couch. And let's just cover our shades real quick and how they work in this trailer. They're just going to pull straight down, and this is going to be your privacy shade. It is just the one shade, so you can use this day or night. At nighttime, just remember that people can see in when the lights are on in here. So if you want privacy, you are going to want to pull those down. It's going to be the same for the front shade and all the other shades. One thing that I did forget to cover is going to be your filters on your air conditioner. There's a filter on each side. So you're going to want to pop these little covers off. And inside you will find your filter. Fish that out of there and you'll see it's just a little screen filter. Rinse it with warm soapy water, let it dry before you put it back in, and it's just going to fish right back in here. Snap your cover back into place. And keep up with that. It's going to help keep the air conditioner performing at top quality. Keep everything going for you there. All right, guys, thanks for coming along with me today as we went through the 2021 R-Pod 196 from Forest River. If I've missed anything or you have any further questions, don't hesitate to reach out to us. You can text us, email us, or give us a phone call here at Princess Craft. And again, this is Cody.